All right, welcome to Focus on Liberia on the Hour of Politics. As always, with me, Ansony Sieh. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Hour of Politics. Another analysis coming your way. This one directly pointed at opposition political leader of the ANC, Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, who we all know is running to be president of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. Cummings did try in 2017. He came very short, and he's doing it again. And the big question that we are asking today, is he ready for prime time? Because it's obvious he was not ready for prime time. Is he ready for prime time? So welcome, and let us get to it in no time. So the name Alexander Benedict Cummings at some point got in the political limelight. He contested, and we were just playing a beautiful song there about Alexander Benedict Cummings during the campaign of 2017. It was a beautiful song, right? I was just dancing to the beat. He's talking about we're going to find the money, focus on the how. And the message there was about change, and he was that change. And so that brings me to the question, is Mr. Cummings ready for prime time this time? Well, I will be tough on Mr. Cummings today, something that people who support him will never do. So it's my job to do what others will not do. Others will go to sing praises. They will find no fault. They will see no weaknesses. They will see no inaction. They will see nothing that is, let's say, a downside about him. And I'm going to find it. It is my job to find it. It's my job to point it out. It's my job to critique him. He's running to be president. Joshua came. He was not checked thoroughly by many of you. Many of you were carried away by his iconic status as a celebrity who captured the world with his footballing skills. And many of you were carried away by the fact that his story was that Liberian story, and you felt that he was our guy. And here we are. And I can boldly tell you, it's a letdown. And so you will understand why it is so much important that we critique, we dig, we look them in the eyes and ask them questions and raise the issues that we see. We have to make them to know we are not taking them just by their words. We want to take them by their action, because action speaks louder than words. And this is where I come in with my analysis. But before I go to the one that bites, Alexander Benedict Cummings, we must say though, is an outstanding Liberian, a well-accomplished Liberian. He has lived in the United States. As he will always say, he has done well for himself. He has obtained success tremendously. There's one good thing he's done, though. He moved to Liberia. We might all be political and say, well, he moved to Liberia because he wants to be president. Granted. How many of us have gone to Liberia to stay after many years of being in the U.S. and involved in the economy and involved with the politics of the day? That is something significant. That's what he's done. It shows that he knows he's a Liberian. It shows that he wants to see a better Liberia. He campaigned, then he did not succeed. He is stay in the trenches. He's doing all he can. But guess what? He's getting disrespected. You all saw what he went through with the court. The politics of Liberia is brutal. I don't feel or share any sympathy for any politician because it comes with the territory. If you want to be an elected official, oh yes, be prepared. Because if you can't stay in the kitchen, you need to get out. And so I must say, Cummings, as a Liberian, as a citizen, like all of us, wants to see a better Liberia. The question is to see that better Liberia. He said his path to making it happen is the presidency. The presidency he must get, according to him, at all costs, so that he can make the greatest impact. Paraphrasing here. And so, folks, is he presidentially ready for prime time? That is the question I will answer in this presentation. So has Mr. Cummings committed himself to what I want to call participatory democratic process? The process through which an individual can become president. Has Mr. Cummings committed himself to that? Before I provide analysis that will give you a gist of my answer, Mr. Cummings, it's better for us to contrast, live in the United States for many years, than many of us. He lived here. I'm sure, like all of us, he followed the news, he followed the politics of the United States, he followed the politics of the Republican Party, he followed the politics of the Democratic Party, and I'm sure he follows to this day the politics of the United States, the greatest democracy in the world, the one we claim we are practicing and that we must practice if we are to have a republic. Cummings follows that. Cummings lived that here. He's still living it. The question is he practicing that? In United States, where Mr. Cummings have come so close to this thing called democracy, to this thing called participatory democracy, players are subjected to a process through which they are selected. One of such processes is called primary. So let us get into it. You must be the change you preach. You must be an example of the processes that lead you to that change you preach. And so 2017 will come, my dear people of Liberia. Cummings, having lived democracy, experiencing firsthand in the United States, was in Liberia. In 2017, in no time, we saw him with a political party called the ANC. In America, if you want to be president, you go through a primary process and you are elected or not elected. And when you are elected, then you get on the ticket and then you will be on your way to face the voters for them to decide your fate. But what we saw in 2017, we did not see that participatory democratic process that Cummings has lived, have seen, has witnessed, has come to admire in the United States. We were thinking he would carry that to our dear country, Liberia. since he wanted this to be this guy who would be an example of the change that we listened to in that campaign message. We did not hear about a primary process. We saw a political party that was more like porches, something the politicians do in Liberia, right? And he will become the candidate, and the rest is history. And he did not win. He netted 112,000 votes. But that is so impressive, though, or was so impressive of him, even though that was insignificant for his goal at the time to become president. I say impressive because Tipote couldn't even reach that far. H-Burman formula could not reach that far. And even Alari Toba cannot even win or get any such number in Bapulu County. The progressive, I don't know what is happening. I respect them. I admire them. They are one of the greatest political species in our nation's political history. But I don't know why I say that they are not always elected. So a Cummings who came, who was this new cake on the block, the stranger, even performed better. But that performance by Cummings was insignificant. In fact, it was a failure by itself. If you don't get what you want, you fail. Failure is failure. Simple. Once you don't get what you want, you fail. Just like I have failed in so many areas of my life. And I'm not going to shy away from it. Fast forward, Cummings and others saw the need. Now that a popular politician got elected in the name of Joshua, the worst of all, but maintains an impressive popularity and love that he enjoys even to this day. I don't know why. So when they saw that this guy is popular and looking at past election results, there has not been one person to win it. We will come together. Cummings will join the CPP. And he has this saying, you can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. But we all know, even last election, he was rubbing shoulders with the likes of Benny Nayure. This is not new. All right. Come on. Comments? Where is that mantra? Fast forward. He will continue to do business with Benny Nayure in the CPP. But the point I want to make here is that did Cummings show the example? As a member of the CPP, there were no primaries. And Cummings was in the wrong. Primary is a key and fundamental democratic political process that anyone who believes in this thing called democracy must always promote, subscribe to, and willing to practice. Anything short of that will not go well, and we know it now, and we have the records here. So, CPP, Cummings were in the room, no primaries. Wow. Benny Nayure was here, Cummings was in the room. What we saw, there were no primaries in the CPP. Zero primary. Now, in 2019, October to be specific, there was a by-election for Grand Cayman County. The guy name is Simeon Boyman Taylor. Then he was a member of the ANC. The ANC, as a political institution, did not conduct a primary to select Simeon Taylor as their guy. Now, to make matters worse, the ANC, with Cummings as its head, was part of the CPP. So the CPP needed to decide a candidate for Grand Cayman County. he was in a room, there was no primary in that CPP. What happened? ANC, without conducting a primary, handpicked a Simeon Boyman Taylor. And because there was no primary, the chaos came. Unity Party, as a constituent member to put forth a candidate, the CPP had two candidates in our Grand Kidman County by-election. What happened? A political nobody and weakling, Victor Van Waxen, would defeat the CPP. What caused that defeat was a failure of this guy who should have been our example, Mr. Cummings, who will not insist that as a political union at the time, the CPP neither could conduct a primary to avoid conflict so that they will go as a political unit in that particular election or by-election. Is Cummings walking the talk? No, he did not walk that talk when it came to Grand Cayman County. So the CPP will lose bigly. Fast forward in December, on December 8th of 2020, the most recent by-election besides the one of Lofa County. The ANC again unanimously, without a primary, handpicked the same Simeon Taylor guy. Fortunately for them, they won this time. There was no primary that selected him. Cummings did not encourage primary. That Simeon Taylor won. In no time, he joins the CDC. Was there any vetting process done in the first place? Well, maybe we can't pull it on the political party. But the key thing that I'm criticizing here is, why was there no primary in the ANC and the CPP that Mr. Cummings was a member of or is a member of? Why? Is that the change the campaign song we're talking about? Did he walk the talk? Well, we know that is commonplace in Liberia. It's where political party handpick individuals because of proximity to the political leader, or because of their lone presence in the political party, or because they have big money, or they are popular in that political party, they handpick them. So this was Mr. Cummings coming to change the political narrative, saying we can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And here he is. A primary will not produce him, and so he himself felt that that was the gold standard for a participatory democracy process or democratic process. Fast forward, Phoebe Herrings and Salisa Diba were members of the CPP at the time. Phoebe Herring comes from the ANC. There was no primary that led to the selection of Phoebe Herring. And so what happened? At the end of the day, the CPP, because the primary would not be conducted in the ANC, the ANC were member of the CPP. The ANC failed to have a primary. And the ANC, as a member of the CPP, will not fight for the primaries in the CPP. So at the end of the day, the CPP had two candidates in that district. Salisa Deba was on the ticket. Phoebe Herrings were on the ticket. And I believe there got to be another candidate from the ranks and file of the CPP who was in that particular race, not ticket. All right. So the CPP became a big loser again. The question is, where was Cummings? Then Darius DeLong. In 2019, Darius DeLong was handpicked. Mr. Cummings, who came from the United States, where there are primaries all the time, would not impress, would not demand, would not encourage, would not advocate for the primary process in the CPP. Because DeLong had this useless popularity, seeing on social media. That was the gold standard. Cummings sat in the room. They handpicked Darius DeLong. That Darius DeLong is bad muffing him today. Darius DeLong was not subjected. Cummings was part of the CPP. They never conducted a primary to select the CPP candidate. There were a lot of outstanding Liberians. DeLong will win, though, in 2019. 2020 by-election will come. The CPP Cummings in the room again. There will not be a primary. They will handpick that Darius DeLong again. So mind you now, he got elected in 2019. That is not the presidency. It is the presidency when you are on a political party's ticket and you want to stay president. Most of the time they say, well, there's no challenger. But when it comes to the legislative election, no, that is not the precedent. The precedent is that person, once it's a legislative position, that person must be challenged. There got to be another. The thing is, you may say, well, DeLong is the most popular guy. With him, we have a better chance. That's obvious. If you have a better chance that he will win, that means you also have a better chance that he will win the primary because of a popularity, because of a good standing. Follow the process. Be an example. Don't only talk the talk, walk the talk, act the talk, and do the talk. Darius DeLong was handpicked twice while Cummings was in the room. That DeLong is not supporting him today. That's what happens. Fast forward, Talia Ure, when Bernard Ure, who became Cummings' friend, the guy he felt comfortable with, even though he said, we can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. He was comfortable with a Bernard Ure. He took pictures with him. He and Bernard Ure raised their hands. They were collaborating. This CPP collaboration is not the first collaboration that Cummings has had with Bernard Ure. You've known him all along to be this man with a character that is distasteful politically. That man is guilty of so many things in the code of public opinion in our country. His public image is one that is replete with dislike, dishonor, and you name it all. Coming will allow and sit there, will not advocate for a democratic process to select the CPP candidate in district number 15. He sat there. Bernard Ure handpicked his daughter Talia Ure. What was he thinking? Is this a change that he bringing? That they will be handpicking people they like in a political institution? When we are talking democracy here, a participatory one to give people the opportunity to compete, and then you become selective? No, I will not state that. I will criticize it. In that district 15, Unity Party as a political institution had an excellent candidate or person or an aspirant, somebody who had interest at the time. That person was, Amos Twe. Amos Twe lived in Logantown area, well known. But because Bernard Ure, maybe along with his godfather Joseph Boaka, and Boaka's goddaughter Nyomli had agreed, so Cummings said, okay, he will not put his foot down to demand for a democratic process that will decide the CPP candidate for district number 17. Unity Party stalwart Amos Twe had ambition or interest. But before we could get to know Talia Ure was paid, Cummings had nothing to say. There's something I'm building here. Follow me. What happened? the CPP became a big loser because there was not a democratic process to produce the best person for the CPP at the time. This is Cummings sitting in the room, and all of these distasteful political processes were going on, and he said nothing. And he was part of a process that was selective, biased, handpicking of individuals. But Cummings comes from America. Cummings have seen the politics of this place, the greatest democracy of all. I cannot, under any circumstance, be in any political institution to allow people to be handpicked by others, disrespecting others who have interest, and not subjecting people to a democratic process. And I'll continue to emphasize that. A participatory one too. So what is the history of primary in Cummings' political history? Zero. I repeat, what is the history of primary in Cummings' political history? Zero. As a political leader, he has never advocated for primaries. He has never encouraged primaries. He has never subjected himself to primaries. His party has no history of primary. What kind of political leader he is in a democratic space? Does he subscribe to democratic process, a participatory democratic process? I would say no, because action speaks louder than words. Where is the history of Cummings demanding, participating, subjecting himself, encouraging participatory democratic processes? Where? In his party, zero. The CPP he was part of, zero. Where? Tell me, show me. He's acting as though he has come from planet Pluto, where they don't have participatory democratic processes. That is how he's acting. But he is Mr. Change. Maybe he is, but the story does not tell it all. But this is Cummings with no history of participatory democratic process, not in his party, not the CPP he chairs or has today. But when it came to deciding the candidate for the CPP, Mr. Cummings, when he saw poor old man Joseph Walker, Mr. Cummings now turned to a primary giant. He turned to a primary King Kong. In your party, there was no primary to select you. None, zero of your candidates from your party was selected through a primary process. He has been part of the CPP, zero primary selected any CPP candidate. Darius Dillon was not selected through a primary. Samuel Taylor was not selected through a primary. Talia Udo was not selected through a primary. Nobody. Nyombli Kanka was not selected through a primary in Grand Bassa County. She was a political leader. She was handpicked. It was selected. Boo. It was a foregone conclusion. Nobody even entertained the need for a democratic process. So this is Cummings, who built a history of zero primary in his party, zero primary in the CPP he was part of. Then when it came to deciding who should be the CPP head, he became a primary giant. He became a primary King Kong overnight. What is that? Why? Don't get me wrong. If he has built this history, if he had been for a primary, then he would be on point. But he has been this person who have practiced handpicking of candidates, who have practiced selective picking of individuals to contest. And now he turns to a primary giant and a primary King Kong. So, when and how is Cummings going to do it going forward? So that brings me to another important aspect of it here. So Cummings now is left with the CPP. He and his buddy, Musa Hassan Billiton. Cummings has promised that he will grow the CPP. He will broaden the tent. Cummings has gone ahead to even say that, well, I am the head of the CPP now because actually Joseph Boakai and I were the only persons with interest for the CPP candidacy. Boakai left. He ran away because he's afraid of primary. Cummings, who had not participated in any primary, conducted any primary in his party, now he became primary hawk. So Boakai said, well, Marseille, I'm afraid of primary just like yourself, so I'm running away. Boakai left. He gave it. So when Boakai left, Cummings is saying, well, I am the head of the CPP now. I'm going to grow the CPP. We'll make the tent bigger. Is Cummings right to say he is the head of the CPP now? Was he like a vice president in the CPP? Is he taking over from the president because the president has resigned or left? What is going on here? Where is he coming up with this thing here? I'm the head of the CPP now because Boakai gone. Is that something for him to say? Is it logical? Is it constitutional? Look at the CPP framework. It has rotational chairmanship. One is chairman at a particular time. There is nothing in the CPP framework that say, well, when the current chairman leaves, this other person becomes automatic chairman. It's not it. It's not it. So, well, maybe I shouldn't read into it, but the thing is that to say that just got me thinking, what is he thinking about here? So Mr. Cummings, he said he's the head of the CPP now. It's like he was this vice president, so the president left now, so he's the automatic chairperson. The major thing now here is Cummings is left alone in the CPP. He has to turn this to an opportunity. He has to show that he's ready for prime time. Because from day one, he has not shown that he's ready for prime time. He has not shown that he's committed to a participatory democratic process. This is the time for him to show it now. Elections next year. Up to now, we don't have any update on the growth of the CPP. Mr. Cummings promised that he will grow the CPP, broaden the tent. We are yet to get any update. What is he waiting for? Somebody who is ready for prime time is not going to wait. Yuri, Boakai, Nyomli left. What are you waiting for? Are you praying that they come back or what? So somebody who is ready for prime time will be acting so swiftly and boldly, growing the CPP, deciding a ticket, putting into place a primary process. But Cummings said, and I quote, the whole primary thing brought serious confusion in the CPP. And going forward, they're going to avoid that mistake of the past. That anybody coming to the CPP, they are only coming to support him to be the head of the CPP. So you see, as though all of the things that I've listed now enough, Cummings continues on this path of not having a competitive democratic process. And yet, he will cry, demand, and want it against Boakai. That wish he wanted. He felt that was the best, even though he didn't have the history of it. And because it could not come to pass, he criticized Bouaka. Now he turns around and somersaults. He said that will be the gold standard. But Cummings, that has been your gold standard in the first place. When was the last time you encouraged a participant in any primary? Never. And so this is not news for us. So the point now is, now that you have made the undemocratic decision for your own benefit, now that you have handpicked yourself, even though you say you'll bring people, but they should only come to second the motion to you, which is undemocratic, fine. Act swiftly, act boldly, decide your ticket, or let the CPP decide a ticket and start getting to business. But what we see is Mr. Cummings going around from state to state, country to country, dancing, even though he criticizes President Weah of dancing, but he dances too. So what is the difference? Weah is dancing, you criticizing him, you too, you're dancing. I'm not saying dancing is wrong. Go on my page, my Facebook page. I got my own Buka dance there. But you can't be criticizing somebody that he's dancing in not serious, and then you are saying you have become a chief dancer in town. In Minnesota, he was dancing. Everywhere he went, he dancing. So maybe dancing is the new order of the day now to make people to fall in political love with you and support you. So don't criticize the president for that. Saying he dancing, you dancing too, you know. So what's the point? But he must dance, and dance he must, because maybe it will win others to him. Others have seen him as this elite. So he's dancing just like most ordinary people would dance in a political space or commonplace. So what is Cummings' understanding of participatory democracy? What is his understanding? Cummings must get to business and act like he wants to be president. This whole thing, like attending all ANC events, taking pictures, will not call it. Giving weak speeches will not call it. Cummings need to grow the CPP. Cummings need to organize primary and decide a ticket. Cummings should not add Bouaka and Josh Weah. I will not take it. He should not add Bouaka, who wants to be coronated. He should not add Weah, who wants to be coronated. He should decide what he wants to do with the CPP, because it is clear now that it is his CPP. Let him grow it. Let him bring people into the tent and let it go to a primary process. But if, and only if, Cummings, because of fear of what will happen, should he subject himself to a primary process, one he has never subjected himself to, except when it came to poor old man Joseph Bouaka, if that is his decision, so be it. So then go with your selective process. Go with your handpicking process. Handpick yourself. Bring somebody. Negotiate with the person and get to business. I have free advice for Cummings. Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, negotiate with Tia Wongonglo. For it is obvious the bad blood between you and Joseph Bouaka is like the two of you are not men enough to put the nation's interest first, but it's about your political egos. The both of you don't have balls to control your surrogates who have destroyed everything you built. You can't even control your own house. People that you are paying, you can't control them. And for Bouaka too, He's not. He doesn't have anybody on payroll, but yet the loud mouths, who have nothing to offer Liberia, are the one telling him and pulling him apart, and then they destroy the trust and the hope of the Liberian people. If there's a price to be paid for that which people have done, you will definitely deserve it. So Cummings needs to decide what he wants to do. Free advice, talk to Tiawon. Tiawon agrees. Since you can do primary, it's not in your DNA. Decide your tickets. The both of you should start getting around. Make your case to the Liberian people. You don't have time on your favor. Your popularity is less compared to Bwaka and Wea. And so adding tier one will add a little boost. And when you put in the work, though your chance of making it to second round, in my opinion, is very slim, it is doable when you build a team and decide that team way before time. Because the good thing is, if he decide your team way before Bwaka can decide his team, and if Bwaka's decision to pick somebody goes wrong, then you might have a chance. But what is Cummings doing? No one knows what he's up to. So after deciding a team, I would suggest with excellent public servant Tiawon Gonglo, a man of impeccable character, who I think should be Liberia's preferred choice for any candidate. Without any hesitation, I can say that, because the rest of the people I see don't really know Liberia, don't really understand Liberia. I'm not sure when they say they stand for something, they stand for it. The one I know who, when he say he stands for it and he's for it, is Tiawon, because the history is there. He has the record. And so, folks, I will say to you, when Cummings decides that, then he need to back it up by focusing on advocacy issues in the country. Like, for example, the issue of diaspora registration. My suggestion would be, we here in the diaspora should be able to vote. We can register here. We have time to do that. Let Cummings start advocating for that. It will put a lot of diaspora Liberians in his corner. We can register here. We can vote here. We are Liberians too. Cummings should start advocating for something like that. I think Cummings, he has a good number of people who support him in the diaspora. That would be a significant chunk of vote for him. Tiawon Gonglo is also here in the diaspora right now in the US. He has been working overtime. I see like almost every week there is event. This man is going from state to state, talking to Liberians. He's yet to gain the necessary traction. But he's building. He's building a movement. He's building a voting bloc. He also should advocate for diaspora Liberians to register here and vote here. If that is not possible, we should also register here and go to Liberia to vote. Because if the advocate that will register here, we have ambassadors here, we have councillors here, it can be done. We can register here, and election day, we can go to Liberia and vote. Maybe that will save us more money. That means you travel to Liberia once, and then you cast your ballot. You register here, that means you're not going to spend that so much money for plane ticket to go to Liberia and come. We register here, they take the records, they send it to Liberia. Election day or days before election day, the person arrives in Liberia and can vote. Now, it will benefit all the political leaders. CDC too has people here. They can register here 2 days, 3 days to election, they go to Liberia, they can vote. Every vote must count. Liberians across the world must be given the opportunity to vote. Can Cummings advocate for that? Can all the political leaders advocate for that? The opposition should be advocating for something like that. But are they even thinking about it? So that's it. We can register here and go vote in Liberia, or we can register here and vote here. Simple. It's doable. It's nothing difficult. So these are the kind of advocacy issues Cummings should be talking about. Another thing Cummings should be talking about, he should start calling for rallies on serious governance, policy, or national issues. Look, the thing about a political leader, especially in the opposition, calling for these rallies should be about things that are really hurting the people, things that the people care about, things that will make the people to know that you are ready to fight. Let me tell you this, and let me tell you this, and I want you to hear me well. In politics, voters like to see a fighter. It's like a woman. Woman naturally wants to see a man who is protective of them. If women love men who fight for them, who protect them. That's how the voters are. They want to see somebody who is out there to fight for their interests, to guarantee their interests, to advocate for their issues. So, and the way you do it as an opposition politician is to call for rallies. Identify an issue that is so important to the people. Rally the people around that issue and lead them to that rally, one after the other. When they see that, they say, oh yes, this is the one who gonna fight for us when he becomes president. The fact that he is doing it now, when we give him the power, he will do more. These weak and cold water speeches, attending fundraiser events, will not call it. Thomas' father had money, he got humiliated. Vanish Sherman had money, he got humiliated. The CDC had money with Paulita Weir, they got humiliated with Paulita Weir. The CDC has all the money, but will not put forth a candidate in Lofa County. The CDC is afraid to even put its symbol on any ballot now in Liberia, in any legislative election, because the CDC is aware that the Liberian people are not feeling the love, the protection, and that is not fighting for the people. The CDC knows. And so independent candidates are winning. And the reason why we have more independent candidates winning is because the voters are not feeling the love from the opposition and the ruling government. So now they are going to independent people. Folks, you see it? That's it. If the opposition were fighting, when the CPP were taking a fight to the CDC, even though that fight was weak, but at least it was a fight. What did we see? They were winning. A liar like Dillon won. Most of the weaklings that the CPP pull up, they won. And where the CPP were fighting against itself, the CPP lost. The independent won. So this thing is simple to understand. If you are out of ideas, we are giving you free ideas right now. Focus on Liberia. For our goals are to educate, to elevate, and to promote. And this time we are promoting the democratic political process in Liberia. And we are educating the weak opposition and weak political leaders who don't have balls to fight for the people. We are giving them free ideas that they don't pay for. So I want to see rallies being organized by Cummings on governance, policy, and national issues. National issue number one that he should call a rally. The National Election Commission voter roll, there should be a rally for that. Should be clean. The National Election Commission board should be removed from that. Can Cummings do that? They say, oh, that guy always yelling at Mr. Cummings, that man will toss something and you want to take it. If you don't take it, you do it at your own peril. These people that Cummings paying money, what are they doing for him anyway? When the political party, the ANC, is languishing way behind the rest, how is he leading this political party anyway? Diplomatic politics does not work in Africa. Least to talk about Liberia. So, national census. Mr. Cummings has repeatedly spoken about the national census, the national population census. They're stealing the money. Now, the legis that is responsible for census, legis bank account is in negative. I want to see a rally organized by any of the political leaders. The people stole the money, the account is in negative. We have not had the census. The census should have given us how many we are, how many people are of voting age, so that we can use that data to plan for our country. They've been eating the money. The CDC government continue to violate it's a constitutional mandate that every 10 years census be held. But every time. And we talk about the road funds. The road funds, they're using it to pay salary against the act creating the road fund that should be used only and only for the repairs and construction of roads. The CDC government takes the money and uses it to pay salary, even though this CDC government is telling us that it has grown the budget, to $780 million plus dollars. The CDC government somersaults, because I understand that I think they're getting some funding from the donor community, so they are trying to recast the budget to increase it to $806 million. So you say you're raising record-breaking revenue, but then at the same time, you're taking money from road funds to pay salaries? It doesn't add up. So, folks, the CDC strategy of recasting the budget is either they know that they're not going to raise the money that they say they're going to raise. So what they're trying to do now is to recast the budget to either make the budget to be a little more realistic, so that we're not here and then there's a major budget shortfall. The opposition has fought itself enough, has done so much harm to itself enough. If Cummings is ready for prime time, let him show that he is ready for prime time. Barker and those people left long since. He's got clear from the court. We have not heard any news about any political party joining the CPP. We don't have a timetable if there will even be a primary, or if there will not be primary, whether or not Cummings is going to find somebody. They are not giving an update. He is going around, he's dancing, he is attending fundraiser events. Those things will not give him the presidency. What will give him the presidency is a coalition that he will build from other political actors in Liberia. What would make him to win the election will be how he takes the fight to the CDC. What will make him to win the election is how he takes his message to the people and how he takes programs, if possible, to the people in the counties. Let him be in the trenches. They are giving the CDC reason to feel comfortable. Those boys, as in Ganta, Focus on Liberia, we have our reporter there, because I don't want them to tell me, oh, we didn't do this. We have our eyes on what they are doing. They are enjoying themselves. These people call themselves Propo, and they are over there. They have all the ministers and deputies and assistant ministers, directors, assistant directors, deputy directors, all of them in that place there. Each of them is going to get pat down. They're paying for their sleeping places. When the executive mansion did significant work on it, they could stay right there in Monrovia, conduct that so-called retreat, and save thousands, if possible, few millions of dollars, and use that money for something else. They are over there enjoying themselves, and they are telling us each agency and ministry will present for 5 minutes, but at the same time, they're taking 2 hours to play sports. Where is the opposition? Where is the opposition? We have a minister of presidential affairs. We have a minister of foreign affairs in the character of Cummings, who was technically booted out of the United States because he is being accused of sexual harassment. So a guy being accused of sexual harassment is our Minister of Foreign Affairs. He cannot visit the United States, our traditional ally. This is the main judge we are maintains, and the opposition thing is okay. They have nothing to do about it. They are helpless, as though the country is not theirs, it's George Weah. So George Weah can do what he wants. Your opposition people, they are sleeping. They are dancing kakaleka. They are playing that for, and they want to win election. Serious issues, mixing boys, auditors, no protest from them, no rally coming from them to remember the auditors who were killed under mysterious circumstances, and the government has no explanation. How are you fighting for the people for which they should trust you? How? By giving speeches, taking yourself to court, dancing, fundraiser here and there for your own serve that is not going to benefit the people, and that's why the people should count on and decide on? How are you even telling the people how bad this government is doing? How effective is the opposition? How effective is Cummings telling the people the corruption that is commonplace in this government and everywhere? Well, I'm not sure Cummings is ready for prime time yet. He's not ready. He is not ready for prime time. I know Cummings is financially positioned for prime time, but he's not ready for prime time, and that will not call it. I know Tiawan is ready for prime time when it comes to messaging. His messages are biting. Cummings need to strike a deal with him, saying he's a deal maker, and he's not somebody who subscribes to a democratic political process. So go ahead and make your deal. Make good deals with people. As for Omen Boaka, he is not ready for prime time, will never be. He will only be waiting to be ordained politically. So, folks, I am not sure Cummings is ready for prime time. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I am not sure he's ready for prime time. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, we will take your phone calls. A commercial break. We will be right back to take your phone calls. Stay with us, folks.
What the money can do, what the money can do, what the money can do, well, what the money can do, what the money can do, what the money can do.
This August, the All Liberian Unity Festival comes alive in New York City, USA. The 3-day event will run from August 26th to the 28th. It promises to be a whole weekend of festivities with top Liberian artists rocking the stage. Activities to include county meet soccer games, red, white, and blue welcome on the boat, the red carpet award night, and the Invincible 11 the Mighty Barrow will be climaxing the weekend as we barbecue together. Come and see the Lofa Judem, the Bassa Judem, the Pella Judem, Nimba Judem, the Big Time Judem, the Grand Judem, and the Congo Judem, the December Judem, plus all other Judem rocking the boat and the award nights, including the Black American Judem. Don't forget our series Judem, and the NGO Judem will be there too. What are you waiting for? Do your reservations now and be part of the first ever Unity Festival in the city of New York. Come rocking your national colors and repping your county. Our jerseys will be out soon. For more information and reservations, contact 9299556227.
All right, folks, I'm back with you here on this presentation. My presentation here was intended to critique Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. I'm not sure he's ready for prime time. I'm not sure he's ready to practice and engage in participatory democratic process. He does not have that in his history. He wants to be president for our country. It is his right. I believe he is an excellent Liberian who wants to be president, but is not acting like somebody who wants to be president. If he wants to be president, he needs to act like one. Since he does not have it in his record, he does not subscribe to participatory democratic process. He is a political deal maker. He is selective. He is handpicking in his political activities, as evidenced by the presentation I've made here. That is his history. Handpicking people, handpicking people, handpicking people. Never and ever participated in any democratic or primary process, except for the one he wanted with Bouaka. Cummings has come to deal making now. So I respect that, even though I disagree with that. So go ahead and make your deals. Make deals and grow the CPP. Make deals and decide your ticket. Make deals, call for rallies. Make deals, take the fight to the CPP. I mean the CDC. Make deals, carry your message to the Liberian people. Since that is the way that works for you, or that's the only way you know. That's the only way he knows. Do it. But he will not do it. He's wasting time. He is consuming so much time. He's paying people that are not up to the task, that are out of ideas. He's spending money. That money is not giving him the result. When will he take center stage? When? After all these years? After all this long? The name Cummings is not terrifying. Really? Look, let me make big mafia a little bit. I'm challenging Ellis Cummings. Let me give you ideas. Just 5 of them. Put them to work in 5 months. Man, you will be the talk of the town. This game will change and will be in your favor. He doesn't have it. I don't know when he's going to get it. Well, this must come to an end. To an end, it must come. I am not afraid to venture into territories. I am flawed. I am weak. I am a failure in so many areas. That would not stop me from seeking, demanding answers for Liberia. We should all be like that. Cummings makes sense as a human being and as a citizen. But that is not enough. Obama said we cannot just hope for a better future, we must fight for it. Is he fighting for it? This is the fight that he knows. This fight is weak and will not call it. He needs a better fight. And that better fight will give him better chance to win it. He is behind. Way too behind to be cold. Way too behind to be dragging his feet. Way too behind to be giving weak speeches. Way too behind to be dancing. Way too behind to be focusing on little fundraisers here and there. Way too behind for his message to not be louder and bold enough. Way too behind to not be taking the fight to the CDC. All Cummings is way too behind to be this cold. Way too behind to have not taken the narrative. Way too behind to not be in the news much yet. Way too behind to not be leveraging the support that he has. If he continues on this path, he will stay way too behind to the end. If he does not want that, he needs to change gear. It shouldn't be Labuaka who said he was a race car park. Is Cummings a race car park? If people think he has it, but where is it? I don't see it. Maybe it's somewhere that we don't know. I will leave it there. And thank you for watching. The ANC people can come for my head. My head is sweet. The thing I like is when people criticize me, point out my emptiness and my flaws. I enjoy that. That is why when I'm doing it to people, I enjoy it. I smile. But here's the thing though. It's good for them. With anybody in ANC challenge Cummings on the serious issue, not a single one will look in his face and tell him, say, Mr. Cummings, wait a minute. None of them. I would do it not because I love Cummings, but because I love Liberia. They are the one we know. Tiawan, Bouaka, Cummings. They are the ones we know. Who wants to replace a corrupt government? And if these are our only choices as of now, we must call them out to be serious and wake up if they think they are the ones. And you don't want me to say that. And you think I'm picking on a man who is doing everything he can. Do you think all he's doing that you think he can is enough? If you think that is enough, then I'm sorry for you and I'm sorry for Liberia. This is enough. This is enough, you think? You must be joking. We need to put fire on the backs of the political tortoise masquerading as political leaders. We must do that. And I will do it. And you can cheer for them. And I enjoy your part when you cheer for them. They need it too. Sometimes we all, sometimes somebody needs something to say, hey, you're great, you're good. But how deceitful is that when it's far from reality? How meaningless is that? How dangerous is that when it's far from reality? The reality is they are not there yet. They are not bold. They are not fighting enough. They are wasting time. That is the reality you must know. So as you go on your Kumaya political praises and hallelujah for them, Tell them too that though I'm singing the hallelujah song, but you are not there yet. My name is Ansony Sieh, and I came not to apologize, but to take the fight to these people so that they can get up and start walking because they are sleeping. And one who sleeps does not get the job done. When you're sleeping, you dream. This is not time to dream Liberia. This is the time to work for Liberia, to fight for Liberia. The days of dreaming are over. No, we are in the age of technology. Technology works. We are in the age of people's power. People's power is the greatest power. They must seek it. They must find a way. The ways are all over the place. They don't have eyes to see it. We will show it to them even if they don't like it. Well, the sun says we are all Liberians. The sun is taking us home. Continuing to watch, focus on Liberia for broadcasts that will piss you off, even though it's the right thing. For broadcasts that will be educative, and for broadcasts that will give you the tear eye that you don't have. That tear eye is the magic of it all. I think we are trying to show it to you. The song we have all Liberians is taking us home. Until I catch you again with my trouble. If you like, you can call me the troublemaker. I see you when I see you. The next time I come here, I will be descending onto Awongonglo. What is he up to? I think I've done that for Boaka. The Boaka people, they know me. They know the old man is in trouble. Bye-bye, folks.
We are